Welcome to the new season of The Girls. I'm Deb Lasant, and of course we have my daughter Janine Lasant. We are getting ready to kick off our new season of The Girls. We're doing it via Zoom because of some of the COVID restrictions. Nevertheless, we're going to bring a lot of great guests to you. We have a lot of great information, what you could do and see throughout all of northeastern and central Pennsylvania. And throughout the world, we're seen everywhere. So all these guests will be interesting to you as they are to us. And we're going to bring some ordinary people with some extraordinary things that they've accomplished and done. So this is a real exciting season, isn't it, Janine?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Like we said if you follow us on the news, we are via Zoom just for the safety and uncertainty of what's going to happen through the months that we tape. And we just want everyone to be safe and lead by a good example that we are practicing good safety standards. So we are excited. Lori couldn't be with us today, but she will be joining us because I know I'm going to run into someone in the supermarket and they're going to say, now, where was your sister-in-law? I didn't see her on this opening of the season. So Lori will be with us. She'll pops in every once in a while on our show, so she will be joining us. But it's good to be back. I think on Zoom. Again, we only have to have shops, so that's a positive.
Well, I'm dressed today for our first guest that we're going to be talking with later on.
Yes.
About tourism and different places and things to go. So I'm El Turista today, complete with the sunglasses. We've been hanging out at home, doing a lot of staycation stuff. Our dog Gucci had to have a lot of surgery.
Yeah.
So he's recuperating. He's right next to me over here on the sofa with Dad. And you'll be updated on everything that's going on with him. He had a splenectomy, he had a liver biopsy, and an exploratory huge surgery. While he was under, they decided to do a enucleation, which is a removal of an eye. It sounds terrible, but he's doing great from it. He had glaucoma, the pressure was giving him a lot of pain. So he's pain-free now, not only with the medication, but we got rid of a lot of stuff. So it's amazing what could be done with dogs. We're going to have a guest on later in the season talking all about that. We'll have some vets and we'll give you the whole update and you'll be able to get to see Gucci with his new look. Of course, we shopped already for Halloween. He's going to be a pirate. Arr.
Oh, too soon, little Gooch.
Well,
I'm getting ready because we are going to visit Luzerne County and I don't go anywhere without my sunglasses and my bug spray. So stay right here. Our first guest is Alan Stout. He is new to Luzerne County's role for Visit Luzerne County. He is in charge of the Visitors Bureau. It plays a very integral role here in Luzerne County. And we'll show you all the fun things to do in northeastern Pennsylvania. So stay with us. If you want, grab your shades, grab your hat, grab your bug spray, and join us right here for the first guest of a new season of The Girls. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're watching The Girls here on SSP TV. We're glad to have our first guest of a brand new season. We have Alan Stout with us. Alan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. How are you doing?
We're good. I wish we were in person, but again, we're just going to play it safe this season like we've been talking about. We made the decision to stay on Zoom a little bit longer until everyone's vaccinated and everyone feels safe to come out and,
Sure.
Be in person. Right?
It's great. Well, even if we're not in person, Janine and Deborah, it's great to see you both. I know we had some good times down at the casino when we were doing the television version of the radio show. It's a lot of fun.
That's what I was going to say. If people out there recognize you, you were a guest of ours on The Girls when we came and did the music on the menu at the Mohegan. We had a great time there.
It was a lot of fun.
It seems like your name is always associated with great times. So you now are, a new position, and you're very important to Luzerne County and all of us with the tourism. So tell everybody about what your new post is.
Okay. Back in, on July 6th, actually, I officially became the executive director of Visit Luzerne County, which is also known as the Luzerne County Visitors Bureau. And we're right here on Public Square in Wilkes-Barre. I'm looking out my window at the beautiful FM Kirby Center. And what we do as a bureau is we try to help bring guests to Luzerne County to come and stay here, to visit here, as the name would suggest, visit Luzerne County, and see all the great things that we have to offer to see and do. Hopefully they would come and stay for a few days in our hotels and eat in our restaurants and take part in our events. And our bureau is all about trying to help facilitate and make that happen. And also provide information for just anybody that wants some information on some of the activities that we have here in Northeastern Pennsylvania. And what I'm talking about there is brochures on hiking, on outdoor activities, on events, on local history. If you walk into the lobby of our building, it's just a wealth of materials on fun stuff to do here in Luzerne County. And so it's a great place to be. I'm happy about the position.
I was reading a little bit of some of your posts and how they developed your office and everything, how you have an original brick as a paperweight, and you're much into history. And also there was a sign that was left in your space. And what did that sign say?
Well, that's the new space. Right now we're kind of in transition. I mean, not really. Our office right now is the same place where it's been since I think 1999. It's right off Public Square. And it's a great spot, and we're up and running 100%. But we will be moving in the middle of January over to the former train station on Wilkes-Barre Boulevard, which a lot of people, people from a generation past, or maybe even the generation before that, frankly, going back to the early 20th century, would remember it as a train station, because that's what it is. It's on the National Register of Historic Sites. But from about 1980 to about maybe 2003 or so, it was a very popular nightclub, first known as the Station, and then known as Market Street Square.
Oh, I know that well, Alan.
I'm sure you do, Janine.
Times.
I figured
those were the good old college years.
Yeah, I figured you would know Market Street Square, Janine. And so that's where our new offices will be about 2.5 months from now, before you know it. And yes, the brick that Deborah mentioned, this brick was given to me by the developer of the new building, because I've been over there on some site tours. And this is a part of the original train station. And so it's on my desk. And when we move over into the train station, it'll be there as well.
So Pennsylvania, Pursue Your Happiness. There's a lot of history in Luzerne County, but there's, a lot of history and a lot of fun things that people can do. And my mom and I have been throughout Luzerne County doing some fun things. We like to have people know what there is to do right here in their hometown. And from the website, if you can go over some of the fun things there are to do for people. I know there's hiking and biking, and then you have a little area called fun things to do. So what are some of the fun things to do that you can highlight for the people?
Well, rather than have me even give the highlight, I'll tell you what the people say, because about 2 years ago, the Visitors Bureau had an independent study done where they surveyed people of Luzerne County on what are their favorite things to see and do here in the county. And, can you take a guess what number one may have been?
Hiking?
Yeah. I mean,
something outside.
Yeah, it was Ricketts Glen.
Okay.
And so for us, for the people that live here, we know Ricketts Glen. We probably, some of us, I've gone out there. I was out there quite a bit during COVID, last summer, when, there really were no other options of things to do. And it was wonderful to walk along the streams and the rocks and the trails and see the waterfalls and so forth. But believe it or not, that is the number one destination for Luzerne County outside of people out of the county. And so we have a lot of people coming here to Ricketts Glen. Outside of that, the things on the list are things that you might have imagined. It's the casino, Mohegan Sun. It's the arena, Mohegan Sun Arena. People come in for Penguins games. It's the Kirby Center. It's Hillside Farms out in the back mountain. It's Eckley's Miners Village down towards the Hazleton area. So there's history, there's outdoors, there's sports, there's entertainment. And, you know, believe it or not, on a typical non-COVID year, you know, you can't really go by the last year and a half as a true example, but in normal times, over $1 billion a year comes into Luzerne County through tourism. And so when people say there's nothing to do around here, well, obviously some people that don't live in this area don't feel that way, because they're coming in and they're filling up our hotels and they're doing all these things that I just talked about. So it's an interesting, you know, when you look at the numbers and the statistics. I mean, there's, I think, 47 hotels in Luzerne County, and they're normally during a normal year are doing good business, and a lot of people are coming here.
It seems like that's always the case. We visited New York City, and there's so many things to do there as well. But what happens is the people who live there, it's just, they always put it aside because they see it or they pass it every day or they know it's there.
Sure.
So now that we're in our own hometown, in our own state, there's so many things to do. You're going to stay closer to home. Maybe you're trying to, you know, be conservative because of the COVID. So what can people expect if they do visit some of these places with the COVID restrictions? Does each one have its own? Should they visit websites? What do they have to do?
Yeah. I mean, especially right now, it's fluctuating day to day. I mean, it's just looking at, you know, sending your children back to school right now. I mean, you know, you're getting a different update from the schools a few times a day, and the visitation sites are no different than that. We currently don't have anything that's closed. You know, whether masks are required or not depends on the facility. You know, here in the county right now, I'm in my office alone with the door closed, but we have a mask mandate in the county for if you're around other people in the work area even. And so that is something that, you know, you would take a look at. Obviously the outdoor things you're fine, but it's changing all the time. But getting back to your point, Deborah, about what you said about New York, when I was in high school, I met this guy at a concert, and we were down in Allentown at Stable Arena. And to be honest with you, just to give the story the true color that I guess it deserves, this guy was tape recording the concert. He was recording a Kiss concert at the Lehigh Valley. And I said to him, "Hey, you know, what's that?" He goes, "I'm taping it." Long story short, we exchanged phone numbers so I could get a copy of the show. And we wound up becoming good friends over the years. And I guess I'm about 17 or 18, and we're talking about where I live and where he lives. And I told him that I'd always gone to New York when I was in high school, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, to visit my aunt. I'd been to the Empire State Building. I'd been to the World Trade Center. I'd been to the Statue of Liberty. I'd done the Circle Line, the United Nations. He had done none of that. And I said, "I can't believe that you haven't done these things." And he goes, "I can't believe you don't ski." And, you know, so, I mean, and I didn't at the time. And so I never had at that point in my life. And so really, you're right. Sometimes the little treasures are right under your nose. And, you know, the locals might not recognize them as much as the visitors.
Right. It takes a visitor to visit us to take them to all these places, because
Yeah.
like we either don't take the time or we don't appreciate what we do have, like everyone else.
Yeah, you have a relative that's coming in from out of town and says, "Hey, I want to do Eckley. I've heard about this miners village." "Oh yeah, sure, we'll go." And that might be that person's first time. And so that's an interesting dynamic about tourism that I think we see everywhere, all around the country.
Something to do in all 4 seasons here. One nice thing about northeastern Pennsylvania. And again, we're talking about visiting Luzerne County here. If you're watching in other parts of the state, or actually parts of the country, because we have viewers that join us online as well, Alan. So for people who
Sure.
are visiting northeastern Pennsylvania and they may make a stop here in Luzerne County, there's something to do for any of the 4 seasons. And when we come back, Mom, I think we're going to talk about, I'd like to hear about that beer and wine and shine trail. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to ask a lot of questions. I have a niece that wanted me to ask you where she could go for the best entertainment. And by the way, she's only 10. So
10?
she's 10 years old. She wants to go to California someday. She loves the stars and she loves singing. She loves singing and a lot of entertainment. So you have to put your thinking cap on. Where can this young girl go for the best entertainment? So
Okay, I need a little more information about what kind of music she likes and so forth, but I got some ideas already.
all righty, well, stay with us.
Okay.
Right back with Alan Stout. Welcome back to the girls. Get your hiking shoes on because we have the greatest guy with us today that's going to tell you what there is to do in Luzerne County. We have Alan Stout with us, and we were in the middle of a conversation talking about some of the exciting things to do. Janine, you mentioned some type of a beer trail.
Yeah,
Alan,
they have. If you go on the website, there's a lot of information. Visit Luzerne County, and if you go on their Facebook page, Alan does a great job with informing everyone what is going on. But if you go to the website, it was Beer, Wine, and Shine Trail. I don't know how much of that's happening or when, but I thought that would be something fun for a girls' trip, or a bunch of friends who haven't seen each other for a while. Something.
Absolutely, they're incredibly popular. Microbreweries and wineries, and some of these facilities do events, obviously, and everything from the Susquehanna Brewing Company, who were just with us down at the river. We just did 3 concerts at River Common back in July, and they were one of the vendors there, and seeing so many people and having a good time and enjoying a local product. It's fabulous.
Well, a lot of those things are interesting to all different ages. I know that there's a lot of groups now. The kids are going all back to school and they'd like to take some excursions too. So do they have group contacts and special arrangements for groups, or maybe visually impaired or
Oh,
handicapped?
yeah. I mean, the members of the Visitors Bureau, of course, if a school teacher or a school administrator wanted to reach out to something like ECLI, or the folks at the Historical Society, and to try to arrange some sort of outing for the children, particularly now during this trepidatious time, when caution is still at a high level, they'll figure out a way to make it work for the kids and do it in a safe way. I don't know, like I said earlier, of anything that's shut down right now. Everything's open for business, and everybody's following the guidelines that come out every day. And we work with Lackawanna County too, and the surrounding visitors bureaus. I mean, there's no competition here. We want people to come to northeastern Pennsylvania. So, I mean, I took my kids up to the aquarium at the Steamtown Mall. That's fabulous, and I actually wound up recommending that to my kids' principal as a day trip for the kids sometime.
It's really the surrounding areas which make up northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we were just at, when we were at the ECLI last week for a meeting, the people from the Pocono Visitors Bureau were there, to talk about a project they're working on. So we see this region as, I mean, we have our own county boundaries, but we do also see it as one region, as we should.
You're definitely Mr. Luzerne County, though. So tell everyone about things that you've done, concerts you've been to, documentaries you've worked on. You are Mr. Musician as far as getting, people in the door. So, I mean, I don't know anyone that doesn't know your name in Luzerne County.
Well, I was very fortunate when I was very young to start writing a newspaper column for the Times Leader. I was only 25 years old or so, and I had a column every week, and I wrote it for, I guess, 18 years or 15. I think 15 of the 18 years I was at the newspaper, I wrote the weekly column. So that gets your name out there. And then I was covering a lot of high-profile events, big concerts, and so the byline's there all the time. After X amount of years, people start to recognize it. got into the radio and really start focusing on promoting and celebrating local musicians. So as you know, because we've worked with me on the show many times, the radio show, that's all about playing the music of artists right here in Northeastern Pennsylvania. And so I've been doing that for 17 years now as well. It's just a part of my life that began when I was, like I said, 25 years old. And it's still something that I can do for an hour or so a week and really enjoy. And I hope that it really makes a difference for some of these artists, that they get some exposure. And it's nothing like being on the radio. I mean, you read artists, doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if it was the Beatles or Bruce Springsteen or Elvis Presley. If you read books and biographies about these people, they will always remember the first time they heard themselves on the radio. And it's still a thrill, particularly for the younger artists here in Northeastern Pennsylvania, when we can give them some spins and know their family's listening and their friends are listening and their fans are listening. And hopefully some people that don't know who they are and are hearing them for the first time. So that's still on the river every Sunday at 9 o'clock. And the other big project that I'm working on is the Agnes Flood documentary, which has been something that a few gentlemen and I have been working on for quite a few years. And we are bringing it to the finish line for next year, which will be the 50th anniversary of the Agnes Flood, which, you know, where I'm sitting right now on Public Square on June 23, 24, 25 of 1972, I would have been under 9 feet of water. And the nice thing about this documentary is we've acquired some footage that's never been seen before. So the what they went through, people literally going back to their homes, standing in front of their home, maybe the day they went back, where it's still a mess. We have them being interviewed that day.
The other things that happen on the square too, Alan, is you guys have supported local businesses and the local farmers, which they're also suffering. So you have all these farmers markets going on.
Yeah, every Thursday. And it's another thing that I look at right through my window here in my office. And it's nice here at the Visitors Bureau because there's so many more people downtown on Thursdays for farmers market that they pop in to see us sometimes, and they're looking for some information. My dad came in to see me at my new office about 2 weeks ago, and I don't want to flatter myself and think that my dad came down to see me. He was here for some vegetables across the street, and he goes, "Oh, I guess I'll go over and say hello to Alan." So it's a long tradition here in downtown Wilkes-Barre, the farmers market, and it goes late too. I mean, we've still got a good 8 more weeks left. It goes through the end of October. So
all right,
come
so
on down,
I have
get
another
some fruit.
question for you.
Mhm.
You get to go and visit all of these places, I guess, and try out everything that you're recommending. Do you take your kids with you? I know you have 2 children. I see some pictures in the background there.
Yeah,
You have
oh
2
yeah.
kids. You get to have like the most fun.
You know, Deborah, I'm trying, especially in this position as director, to make sure I personally attend the major events, you know, Luzerne County fairs, Rock in the County. My kids in the Rock in the River shows, my kids were at those with me last year during COVID, and this year at the river. One of the great experiences I just had with my son was Riverfest. Just about 3 weeks ago, which we sponsor, the Visitors Bureau is a sponsor, and my son and I kayaked 14 miles down the Susquehanna, all the way from Harding to, we got off right at the Market Street Bridge. That's where it ends in Nesbitt Park. And I tell people all the time, it's such an amazing journey because the top half of the kayaking journey, you're going through the falls area, and it really looks no different. I would imagine it looks no different than an Indian in a canoe 300 years ago, because it's all wooded area. And so we saw an American bald eagle right there. And then you come around the bend into Pittston and you see Familiarity, you know, and you come down into Jenkins Township and you see like Brews Brothers, this bar that you have wings at sometimes. And through 44, and you could see where the levee broke during the flood behind the cemetery. And then you come around and then you see the courthouse and the Wilkes-Barre skyline, and you go under these bridges that you drive over all the time. And I did get to share that with my son, and I put some pictures up on my social media. And he immediately asked me when we got out of the water, "We're doing this again next year, right, Dad?"
That's the
So,
best feeling.
yeah,
That's the best feeling. And we want
Yeah.
people to feel that with their kids and their families and make memories, and come to visit LuzerneCounty.com, check out the Facebook page. And Alan, we wish you much luck and success and a lot of fun as you continue to highlight all the great things that are going on here in the county.
Oh, thank you. And I got to give our staff a shout out too. I mean, we have Megan and Donna and Gay and Pat and you complimented our social media. That's handled by
Yes.
Megan. We really do have a great team here, and we all love what we do, and we love Luzerne County. So come visit us.
Very good. Well, thank
The
you,
words
Alan.
of Manny Gordon from years ago, enjoy, enjoy. And so,
Enjoy.
yeah, enjoy. Well, thanks, Alan. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time here. You're watching The Girls. You can check us out on SSP TV, on the cable systems, and please support where you live in your community. Check out, visit LuzerneCounty.com. Alan, always nice to see you. We'll see you next time.
Great to see you guys as well. Thank you very much.
Bye.